Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. So, welcome to Kyushu University Forum, Kyudai now Bangkok, in this very busy afternoon. So, my name is Qian Kun, or you can call me Kun for short. I'm an associate professor at Kyushu University Institute for Asian and Oceania Studies. I will be the MC for today. So, first, we will have our opening session. And at the beginning of this session, first I would like to invite our Vice President of Kyushu University, Professor Shimizu Shuji, to give the welcome remarks.
So, before I start, I'd like to express my deepest condolences to the people in Thailand for passing of Her Majesty, Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, last October. Now, Sawadee Ka, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome you all to this Kyudai University Forum, Kyudai Now, in Bangkok. So actually, this is the third time for us to have this program here in Bangkok. But for those who joined us for the first time, I'd like to give you some explanation what the Kyudai Now is. So Kyudai literally means Kyushu University for short. So in Japanese, Kyudai means the Kyushu University. So in Kyudai Now, we would like to introduce our recent researches to the people here in Thailand. But at the very, very beginning, when we started this event, our main target was actually the Kyushu University alumni people, coming back to Thailand or Japanese alumni working here in Thailand. But because this program is good enough, very attractive, of course it expanded to welcome the other people, including the academics or industry people who wants to have a collaboration with us, or even the local government. So today we have a lot of registrations, including all this variety of people. And not only in Thailand, Thailand is one of the very first country we started this activity, but we have done the same thing, for example, in Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, and then Taiwan, and Mongolia, and a few months ago, first time in Turkey, and then Egypt. I may not forget any other countries, I guess, but also we are having the very first one next month in the Philippines as well. So this activity is expanding more and more, in our region. And the one characteristics of this program is that we do not focus in one topics. We would like to introduce variety of researches being done in Kyushu University right now. So as you see in today's program, for example, this presentations including the human sciences, design, and the psychology, and engineering, and industry collaboration, and chemistry, and so on. And so this is very multidisciplinary, but don't worry, we asked each presenter to give a presentation easy enough for all of you to understand the contents. The participants who are not in each specialty could understand the presentations. So yeah, I really want you to enjoy all the programs. And the last 2 times when we have this meeting in Bangkok, we organized this in hotels. So this is the first time we strongly collaborated with the KMUTT for all the preparations and arrangements. So from the bottom of my heart, I really like to appreciate the cooperation and support from the university. So I'm sorry, but this is not the last but least. We'd like to express the special thanks to the president of the KMUTT, Professor Dr. Subit Satya, and also the Director and Japan Information Service, Embassy of Japan in Thailand, Mr. Akasaka Hiroki, for the opening address. So everybody, please enjoy the forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Shimizu. So next is our session for opening remarks for this Kyudai now. So our opening remarks will be delivered by 2 honored guests. First, I would like to introduce Professor Dr. Subit Satya, the president of KMUTT, King Monk's University of Technology, Tongli, to give the first opening remarks, please.
Dear distinguished guests from Kyushu University, colleagues, alumni of Kyushu University, and friends. On behalf of KMUTT, I would like to welcome all of you to KX. When I look around this room, I see something remarkable. I see researchers who have successfully collaborated through co-circulation and joint publication. I see alumni who walk the same campus path in Kyushu University decades ago and still work together until now. I see a community that has been steadily building bridge for a really long time. Today, I want to talk about something fundamental. I want to talk about people, about faith, and about seed. The relationship between KMUTT and Kyushu University began with the strong people-to-people connections. Since many decades ago, young Thai scholars traveled to Fukuoka to pursue their studies. They returned home and start their career here at KMUTT. For times, the formal connection remained quiet but never failed. They wait for the right moment. In 2013, that moment came when Professor Roland and Professor Ilamiya came to give lecture at KMUTT's Bangkok campus to reinvigorate our relationships. Since then, we moved from biomedical research to neuroscience, social science, hydrogen fuel cells. I see trust developing across all areas. When you trust your partner, you can work together through joint lectures called Light Triple B program, through JSPS fund research with the people in 9 provinces through more than 150 high school students exchange via science and through young Thai PhD candidates now carrying our hydrogen research at Kyushu. In February 2025, I met Professor Tatsuro Ishibashi for the first time. We discovered we share common vision that universities must be engines of social change. Thailand and Japan are neither in spirit. In uncertain times of geopolitical issues, partnerships like ours are not luxury, they are necessities. Tomorrow, we will formally enter institutional level partnerships, but today is about the people in this room. The professor, the alumni, the researcher, the young people who call Japan their second home and return to the first home to drive change. You are the reason these partnership types. So I invite you to reconnect, share story, share experience. Today belongs to you. Thank you, Kyushu University, for walking along with us through this bright journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Sumit Satya. We very appreciate this collaboration. Thank you. And next, I would like to introduce delegate from Embassy of Japan in Thailand, Mr. Akasaka Hiroki, the Director of Japan Information Service of Embassy of Japan. So, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished guests. My name is Akasaka from Embassy of Japan in Thailand. I studied Thai in Japan, so please let me make my remarks today, both in Japanese and Thai. 皆様、本日は、このような素晴らしいイベントにお招きいただきまして、誠にありがとうございます。สวัสดีครับทุกท่านผมอากาศากาจากสถานเอกอัครราชทูตญี่ปุ่นประจำประเทศไทยก็รู้สึกขอบคุณและยินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งที่ได้รับเกียรติให้มาร่วมงานในวันนี้นะครับ本日は九州大学による Kyudai Now の大会祭は今回で3回目となり継続的な取り組みとして大変意義深いものと存じておりますそして今回はキングモンクット工科大学トンブリ校との連携開催ということで、日体の学術交流が一層活発化していることを大変嬉しく思います。งานประชุมวิชาการ Kyudai Now ที่จัดขึ้นในประเทศไทยโดยมหาวิทยาลัยคิวชูครั้งนี้จัดขึ้นเป็นครั้งที่ 3 ซึ่งการจัดกิจกรรมมาอย่างต่อเนื่องเช่นนี้มีความสำคัญอย่างยิ่งนอกจากนี้มหาวิทยาลัยเทคโนโลยีพระจอมเกล้าธนบุรีได้ร่วมจัดงานในครั้งนี้ด้วยจึงถือเป็นเรื่องน่ายินดีที่การแลกเปลี่ยนทางวิชาการระหว่างญี่ปุ่นและไทยเพิ่มสูงขึ้นเช่นนี้นะครับ日本とタイは長年にわたり強固な友好関係を築いております。その一環として教育・研究分野の協力も深まってきております。こうした交流は両国の発展に欠かせないものであり、九州大学の取り組みはまさにその象徴だと感じております。ประเทศญี่ปุ่นและประเทศไทยสร้างสายสัมพันธ์แห่งมิตรภาพที่แน่นแฟ้นมาอย่างยาวนานหลายปีความร่วมมือด้านการศึกษาและการวิจัยซึ่งเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของความสัมพันธ์อันแน่นแฟ้นนี้มีความร่วมมือกันอย่างลึกซึ้งเช่นเดียวกันการแลกเปลี่ยนความสัมพันธ์เช่นนี้เป็นสิ่งจำเป็นต่อการพัฒนาของทั้งสองประเทศซึ่งผมสัมผัสได้ว่าความพยายามของมหาวิทยาลัยคิวชู เป็นสัญลักษณ์สะท้อนให้เห็นถึงสายสัมพันธ์ระหว่างญี่ปุ่นไทย本日の、このイベントが研究成果の共有や人的ネットワークの拡大を通じて両国の研究者それから学生の皆様が新たな知見や協力の機会を得る場となることをこれより期待しておりますผมหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่ากิจกรรมในครั้งนี้จะเป็นโอกาสให้นักวิจัยและนักศึกษาจากทั้งสองประเทศได้รับความรู้และสร้างความร่วมมือใหม่ๆทางการเป็นปันของการวิจัยและการขยายเครือข่ายระหว่างบุคคลนะครับ最後になりますが関係者の皆様のご尽力に感謝を申し上げるとともに本日のイベントの成功を心よりお願いしておりますสุดท้ายนี้นะครับขอขอบคุณผู้เกี่ยวข้องทุกท่านที่ทุ่มเทให้กับงานในครั้งนี้และขออวยพรให้กิจกรรมในวันนี้สำเร็จลงได้ด้วยดีผมขอจบคำกล่าวไว้เพียงเท่านี้ขอบคุณมากนะครับ
Thank you very much, Mr. Akasaka, for your bilingual speech. Very impressive. Thank you very much. So the last part of our opening session, I'd like to introduce Professor Kikuchi Kimio from Kyushu University Institute for Asian and Oceania Studies, our institute organizing this Kyudai event, to give the introduction of Kyushu University and Q-AOS.
Thank you very much, Sadika. It's my great pleasure to introduce the Kyushu University and the Institute for Asian and Oceanian Studies. So at first, I would like to introduce where our Kyushu University is. So many of you already know. Our Kyushu University is located in Fukuoka Prefecture, which is southern Japan. And prefecture of Fukuoka is known as a variety place to visit, like Itoshima City or Kyushu City or the Zaifu City, which is famous for a shrine for learning, and many local food, delicious local food. Fukuoka City is the capital city of Fukuoka Prefecture, which is the sixth largest city in Japan. As this Fukuoka City is located close to other Asian countries, we call it Gateway City to Asia. So let me introduce about Fukuoka City. So Fukuoka City is, according to the nationwide ranking, Fukuoka City has been number one for 5 years as a place where Japanese people want to live and work in and go to these cities. And Fukuoka City's increased rate of foreign residents has been number one among other cities in Japan. And the British magazine Monaco ranked Fukuoka City as best top 10 as the world's most reliable city. And Fukuoka City is ranked second among 13 cities in Asia as a place where people live comfortably in all seasons because of the relatively warm weather around the year. So now I want to show some numeric information about Kyushu University. So Kyushu University is one of the 10 designated national universities in Japan. So which means Kyushu University has a high rank of high level of education and research among other Japanese universities, national universities. And Kyushu University is one of the 7 former empire universities, and it was established in 1911, so it has more than 100 years of history. And the number of undergraduate school and graduate schools and the students and faculty staff are displayed like this. So this is our Ito campus, main campus, which is the biggest campus in Japan, which has 3 kilometers long. So I will show you later the video. And then Ito campus has, as this is the biggest campus, there are many places that students can like enjoy or as a visiting as a cafeteria, and then dormitory also, which can be summarized in only one round. And the library in Kyushu University is has one of the biggest collection of books in Japanese universities. In addition to this Ito campus, we have other 3 campuses. So like hospital campus for graduate school of medical sciences, dental sciences, and pharmaceutical sciences. And also OHASH campus for graduate school of design, and Kyushu campus for interdisciplinary graduate school of engineering sciences. So this is the aspect of international about the international aspect of Kyushu University. So we have more than 90,000 students. Among them, 14% are international students. More than 2,600 students are from overseas. And then those people those international students come from 103 countries around the world. For those international students, we offer international English classes. For example, in undergraduate schools, we offer international English programs in 3 schools, such as School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation, and School of Engineering, and School of Agriculture. And also, it means students don't need to learn Japanese to earn their degrees. Regarding the graduate schools, all the 19 graduate schools, we offer international programs. So international student can earn the degree without learning Japanese. We have overseas branches around the world. Actually, we have 10 overseas branches, offices. And especially in Asian region, we have more offices than the other places. So 5 years ago, Kyushu University launched a 10-year plan, so-called Vision 2030. So this vision aims to create social change by connecting knowledge across different fields. And then, based on this vision, we have set 2 objectives, such as becoming a platform for knowledge, and then also becoming a core of core innovation. And the university showed a clear vision for 8 areas. And by using this strength and research teams from many fields, Kyushu University works to solve social challenges in 3 key areas, such as decarbonization, and medical and health, and environment, health, and food. So by focusing on these 3 areas, Kyushu University works with many fields to help build a better society. So finally, our institute. Our Institute for Asian and Oceania Studies. So I will briefly introduce. So this institute was created in 2019. Our mission is to promote the practical research and education across Asia and Oceania. As one of the so there are 3 main activity pillars, such as interdisciplinary action, and on-site and on-demand, and future SDGs. So as one of the interdisciplinary actions, Q-AOS, our institute provides a platform where researchers and faculties can collaborate each other. So this platform bridges together around 30 researchers and represented by these research leaders. and then collaborate both within and across different fields of expertise. We act as a liaison between Kyushu University and society, sharing the university's research and activities with the wider public. One of them is the Brown Bag Seminar, as you can see on the right side. So this is a seminar, weekly seminar, we call it Brown Bag Seminar. And Kyushu University's researchers present their work in a way that is easy for general public. So this poster is for tomorrow's seminar. And you can also join from abroad. And every time many people join from abroad. So please, if you are interested, please visit our website and you can have access for that. And so for Thailand, the time is from around 10 o'clock in the morning. And another activity is that Asia Week. It's a yearly event which we organize around every November. So in this Asia Week, we offer many kind of workshop or events or seminars and many things. And many of them offer online access. So if you're interested, please join this Asia Week. We will show the details around October of this year. Finally, Kyudai Now, where you are here today. So Kyudai Now is a forum where Kyushu University shares its research and activities in collaboration with local alumni associations. So for this fiscal year, we have already conducted this Kyudai Now in 7 countries, like Turkey, Mongolia, as Professor Shimizu explained. And then this is Thailand. Thailand is 8th country of this fiscal year. And many people participate in this forum, and I have studied in collaboration with researchers of Kyushu University. And now I would like to show the video of our Kyushu University. It's a 2 minutes video. Okay, thank you very much for attending today's seminar, forum, and thank you for coming and enjoy the presentation, networking, and the dinner reception. Thank you very much.
So next, I would like to start the session one. We're almost on time. Session one, there are 3 presentations from our university about social science and design. So first, I'd like to invite Professor Johan Lawrence, the Senior Vice President of Kyushu University, and also Professor at Faculty of Art and Science of Kyushu University, to give the first presentation, issue-based shared learning across borders.
Good afternoon. I was just about to tear the place down, but I decided to stop the deconstruction. So, thank you all very much for joining. We are very happy with Kyushu University to be able to show our commitment to the collaborations with KMUTT, so thank you very much. And like Professor Shimizu, I would also like to extend my condolences for the passing of the mother. So today, I would like to talk very briefly about issue-driven shared learning across borders. And I tried to make it as compact as possible, as compact as we had to stand for a photo. But this is really about trying to think about the next generation education. And this is something that is been a flagship project at Kyushu University, and really to rethink what could be the place of the university from now on. And we have a very radical change in how information is shared and accessed in our society. And I think universities need to change alongside that. So I'll try to explain that a little bit, but before doing so, maybe it's good to give a little bit of background where I'm coming from and how come I'm here representing Kyushu University. 一応も日本語できますけれども、やっぱり日本人じゃないんです。And so I'm not a Japanese, but I have adopted Japan and particularly Fukuoka as my home country. So I have been with Kyushu University for 16 years already, and I like it a lot. Actually, Itoshima and Fukuoka as cities, it was already mentioned in Kikuchi-sensei's lecture, are very livable places. And I know so because I've been there for 16 years, and I even know where my ashes are going to be under. So the Nanzoi has a lying Buddha, a very beautiful lying Buddha, the second most beautiful lying Buddha anywhere in the world. You know, of course, which one is the best. Basically, I have adopted it as my home country because it offers everything. It's a very internationally minded city and environment. It's very beautiful. It's got ocean, it's got mountains, it's got onsen, it's got everything. But it also has one of the best universities that I've ever had the privilege to work, and also very much an innovation-oriented university, Kyushu University. So my own background is I'm Belgian. I'm from Belgium. My mother tongue, is Dutch. My first language is Dutch. But I've been away from Belgium for a very long time. I was trained as a cognitive scientist. So cognitive psychology, cognitive science. So if you will, it's sort of toward the humanities, but really at the edge. I went over the edge in my postdoc when I studied neuroscience. So I spent 4 years at Tendo University, a medical university in Japan, training as a neurophysiologist. That goes really to the sciences, I guess. It was an important experience. I'll come back to it because it has shaped much of what I did ever since. But you can see me as sort of a person who juggles between humanities and sciences. That will be part of the story. I think some of the next slides I can skip because they were already in Kikuchi-sensei's presentation. just look at this beautiful campus. It's the single biggest campus. We were just talking about how every university advertises their best features, but it was really a beautiful campus. I'm not going to go further because it was already presented. Thank you very much. Sensen. And I will just go straight away to talking about about a project that really sort of tries to make that vision of the university. If you remember, I wonder, what's the slogan? Vision 2030. No, it's part of it.
So good.
Don't ask me, so
Driving social change with integrated knowledge. Exactly. So driving social change with integrated knowledge. And I think there are two aspects that are really important. The integrated knowledge, which brings together the different sciences, but also driving social change. And so we need to go to governance, we need to go to industry, and we need to collaborate. And so how do we do that? In the first instance, we do that by having a good international focus and a focus that is manageable within the curriculum. And so I promised you to talk about issue-driven kind of education that will go across borders. And across borders here is very important in two senses. It's regional, national, states. So across borders, we go from Japan to our neighbors and further out, and opposite as well, but also across borders of disciplines. So that will be important. Now, I want to talk just a little bit about this approach that we are trying to advocate as a way to improve outward mobility at Kyushu University. And so if we think about, I'm actually Ryugak Hakkei Kanto as a person within Kyushu University, so we try to get our students to engage more in overseas experience. We do that from the realization that such overseas experience is hugely important. I think everybody in the room here probably has had at least one or two experiences studying or working or living overseas. And it's such an important aspect of development, of creating a little bit of resilience. It's sort of literally a life-changing event, but also upgrading skills and so on. So it turns out we have trouble actually engaging our students to go overseas. Many Japanese students do not want to go overseas. And so how do we invite them to do so? You know, in a world where maybe going overseas is scary, risky, costly. So how can we engage that? And so for that, we're trying to think of it as a process of growth, where you can go in multiple steps, and ideally, we would work that with what we call a cascade model. You sort of step up, and you gradually increase in scope both in time and place. And so you can start with online learning. COIL, so collaborative online international learning, is a very important tool that we owe, or thanks to the pandemic, have been able to work on further. But starting with online experiences can be the easiest form. And if you organize that well, if you organize that as a type of academic English learning, then you could say maybe it's good to have students from, say, Thailand and Japan talking together online about, for instance, an interdisciplinary topic, something, an issue-based topic, such as climate change or how to deal with floods. And so maybe floods occur in Bangkok, they also occur in Fukuoka. Maybe they create very specific issues that you need to be looking at from an economics perspective, from a physics perspective, from an engineering perspective. There's multiple perspectives that we do. So very early on, we could benefit from such exchange online, costless, basically. That can be connected onto short-term experiences where we can bring a group of students from KMUTT to Kyushu University, or opposite. And so even connecting that to a foil would work really well. Long term, ultimately, that could mean a semester long or even longer exchanges. So in terms of design, that means actually creating the situation for it. We need to facilitate the situational agency. If you think about students, from the students' perspective, we need to understand why it is difficult for them at the moment to go overseas. So a bit of stakeholder analysis. So we say for overseas studies, we know they are good for learning. And the ministry wants it, our university leadership wants it, but if we ask our students, then they say no. And they say no because it costs too much. Often they cannot earn credits for it. There's a risk of delayed graduation or no obvious relevance for the career. So from a student's perspective, if you listen to that, you realize it would be crazy to go overseas. So we need to flip that situation and make it realistic. And so the key point is that at the moment, overseas studies are too often seen as something separate from the curriculum. And the students have to just initiate, and we say, we made a new MOU with KMUTT, and then we say, okay, we have 350 MOUs. If you say that to a first-year student, we have 350 connections in the whole world. I say, there's like too many choices. You say, where do you begin? You don't know what you can do. And so maybe a student will ask their senpai, they will ask their senior student, where did you go? Was that good? But that, I think, is, from a design perspective, is actually not good. Because it would be better if you work as teachers on designing what is a good education, not leaving it to the senpai and the senior students to say where they went, but actually design it. So, and actually, and this is a little bit of an open secret, sometimes advisors do not even want their students to go overseas. If you are an engineering professor or a science professor and a student is in the 3rd and 4th year, you say, so maybe you better stay here and do your research, get data. So sometimes, even though university leadership says, go, 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 maybe your professor says, no, 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 no. So basically, the key concept is actually very straightforward, but we need to work on making that feasible, on that framing that. And so the key concept is we need to create this, the curriculum relevant options for students. Build it into the curriculum. That also means maybe if you are in a particular material science unit or so, maybe instead of saying to the students, here are 350 options, maybe you create 3 or 4 and say, we know you can do this at KMUTT, you can do that in Mainz, or you can do some other thing in Barcelona. And so you know exactly which labs you're collaborating with, and you're giving clear options on what you can study overseas. And so relevant options with strategic partnerships and activities that gradually expand in scope. And so from a student's perspective, just need to make it affordable. So make a situation that gives value for money. Online is a good first step because it doesn't cost anything. It's only time and effort. The second thing is to make it credit bearing. And so to actually make sure that your curriculum offers the ability to transfer credits and to earn part of your degree with overseas activity. So within the normal curriculum, so that you can ensure that you can graduate on time. Now from the student's perspective, that really will drive. From the faculty members' perspective, we also have to make it worth their while? Why would they put in the effort? And so, in one sense, you could say, if you can afford to work on meaningful projects, if you maybe even get a little bit of budget to work with your colleagues in Mainz, maybe that is one element of motivation. You get to strengthen the collaboration. But also it should count towards your effort, your workload. And so if you create a short-term program, for instance, a COIL plus an on-site activity, that should count instead of other teaching duties. And maybe you could say, if you normally teach an entire semester, an hour an entire semester, maybe if you do a COIL plus, you can change that to this one short, intense activity over 2 weeks. And so if you start talking like that, if you say, instead of having to teach a 16-week course, maybe you do one online plus on-site activity, that starts sounding something like teachers might want to do. So, create meaningful situations, also from the administration, make platforms and systems that allow us to do so efficiently. You would think that this is all a no-brainer. In fact, it is a no-brainer. But you need to create the framing, you need to create the situation for that to happen. At the moment, this is our task, this is what we're moving toward. Actually, so one place where we're trying to design that is the School of Interdisciplinary Science and Innovation. So my title today is Issue-Driven Learning Across Borders, is basically something that we're piloting here in this particular school. It's a new school that we set up in 2018. In Japanese, we call it Kyushu Gakubu. So Kyo for collaborative, So for imagination or creation, Gakubu. So if you run that through an automatic translator, it says something like Co-Creative Studies, Department of Co-Creative Studies. For some reason, we didn't think that was cool 8 years ago when we started it. And we came up with this terribly long title. Most of our students don't know. If you ask them, what school are you in? They will say, I'm in the school of ISI. They'll say, okay, what is ISI mean? International science, I don't know, something. No. Interdisciplinary science and innovation. But as a concept, it is working exactly from this issue driven. And so maybe I'll give straight away 2 key points. One is that it is, as a project, something that happens sort of by pulling together teachers from different schools and departments. So we have about 50 academics, and they go from the entire range. We have physicists, we have lawyers, we have geographers, we have data scientists, we have neuroscientists. There's very different types of backgrounds, but also a quarter of the teachers are international. So we have people from Europe, from East Asia, and so on. Now, as a strategy, we said there are 4 elements in this school that are going to be key to how we operate. And they're not only key to how they operate, they are basically completely different from anything else in terms of undergraduate learning at Kyushu University. So, first point is we are not going to teach discipline. We are not going to focus on material science, or we're not going to focus on particular discipline approach. Instead, we're going to work from issues. We're going to work from issues such as poverty, or climate change, or anything that might be listed in the Sustainable Development Goals. The second point is that we are going to do so by very much looking outside and back in. And so having a very strong international outlook, and encouraging, even requiring our students to engage in overseas studies. With an interdisciplinary education, it also means that students get to work on their projects and then maybe acquire specific pieces of knowledge that would be relevant for their projects. And that takes me to this more general concept. And so I think before 2018, we noticed that if you want to try and really talk about issues, you really try to drive social change with integrative knowledge, maybe you would have to have a PhD in neuroscience first, and then a PhD in engineering, and so you would be maybe in your late 30s by the time you can actually combine things and maybe try to do something innovative. They say, no, by that time your brain is fossilized, so it's better to start. It's better to start much earlier. So this is also, classically, we might say you have a typical idea of a generalist education, where maybe you train to be a diplomat or something, and you need to know, something about many different things, and you need to have the ability of an overview, maybe typical sort of old school liberal arts or humanities kind of approach. The opposite of that would be a very deep dive into a specific discipline, which would be specialist knowledge. And so if you think specialist education, that is what Kyushu University and other Japanese universities have been very good at providing training. But these days we realize maybe a lot of the serious issues that we face today are complex to begin with. And so from that idea we said maybe what we need to try to do is offer something in addition to these. And so maybe we can continue the specialist training, but in this particular case, we might also need what I would call a connectionist approach. And so this connectionist approach means that for a particular issue, for a particular problem, you bring relevant stakeholders to the table. You bring people who have aspects of that knowledge and who together can form a team. And so maybe ideally that goes not just interdisciplinary, but what we call transdisciplinary. Transdisciplinary, where you actually go into communities or particular situations to make things work. So this is interdisciplinary, connectionist, collaborative, and importantly, doing that from the beginning, from when the students come as 18-year-olds to the university. Okay, so that also means that we need a lot of partners. We need partners, and strategic partners, in terms of collaboration with other universities, but also with communities, with local stakeholders, with industry maybe. And so, if you see any interest in this Kyoto Gakubu or a particular connection you might be interested, please let me know. Ichiro, could you just say, I want to know how much time I have?
Yeah, it's almost finished.
Oh, okay. I had an entirely different story, but I was going to connect to how I do this type of research myself. But I will keep that for tomorrow, for the recurrent story. So maybe this is a good point to round it off. So I'm going to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Lawrence. Actually, we want to have a Q&A session, but now the time is a little pushing. So, but if you have any question, after these 3 presentations, we have a coffee break. So you can just ask Professor Lawrence about this it's a new department from our university and this type style of new education. Okay, next I would like to introduce another professor from another faculty. Actually, in our university, we have a faculty of design. So comparing with the other imperial universities in Japan, this is very special. And next presentation will be given by a professor from this design faculty, Professor Melanie Saranto. So she will give a speech titled Margin to Margin, the Politics of Design Activism.
Good afternoon. Sorry about the hiccup. Let's start. So we are ready now. My name is Melanie Saranto, and I'm a professor at Kyushu University. And as Kun Sensei introduced me, I'm a professor at the Faculty of Design, or Hashi campus. So we have a really beautiful campus, and our campus have over 100 professors, all focusing on 3 different areas. So we are essentially a transdisciplinary faculty. We have science, we have engineering, and then we also have a third of us are design and also arts focused professors. So with me, I also have my PhD student, and I want to introduce Dawn.
Hi. Hi, Sawadika. My name is Dawn from Korea, and I'm a PhD student in a Professor Scientist lab. Thank you for listening.
So let's start. In design, we want to look specifically at the issue of what design activism is. So why is design activism even important? And design activism really is a space where we work to change society. So very much connected to the vision of our university, driving social change, design activism can instigate and bring about that kind of change. And why is design activism important, and what is it actually? So it is to raise critical reflection, first of all, within our communities and within ourselves on the morality of the status quo. So on the morality of what is going on, what do we have that we are dealing with, and that needs a design approach. And if you think of activism, what comes to mind, for example, are keywords that are borrowed from 3 areas of work. So to make this easy for you to understand, we draw ideas from sociology and also political theory, and we can think of keywords such as democracy, public space, participation, and so on. Then from art movements, we also draw keywords such as the avant-garde, social interventionism, and then also community art. But then from design, we see that there is a shift. And the shift is, how do we do design in designerly ways? And this designerly way of working is the way where designers read their environments and use their intuition to do things differently. And designers try to simplify life out there. They try to smooth over processes, for example, in service design, to give better experiences. Designers try to make better products. We all know about the products made in Japan, where designers make fantastic running shoes, for example. You can think of Shinsoku. So designers used in these ways. And here we are trying to make an illustration of how these 3 ideas come together of what activism is, drawing from art activism, political activism, and design activism. And interestingly, all these 3 areas share similar techniques. For example, demonstration artifacts, art of communicating, conventional actions, service artifacts, events, and so on. So what is, for example, a service artifact? A service artifact is, for example, a touch point that you build into a service so that the service works better. For example, there's a computer point where someone serves a client so that the client's experience is better. So all these 3 areas share this commonality, that they use similar techniques. And what is our understanding then of design activism in social design? So if we drive social change, And in our laboratory at the Faculty of Design, we believe that it is the intersection of these three areas. And it's not a comfortable space. We need to understand that in design, we need to create more uncomfortable spaces. Designers need to be those who continue to ask questions, to go into communities and to really understand what is the knowledge there that can help us to drive change together. Designers cannot do it on their own. And so this space is always changing. We draw from all three of these areas to create the change within communities. Really, there's an understanding needed of the micro-political. That is the I, the me, the us, the small elements within communities. That means every person that helps to drive change. And we have in previous presentations seen, in our university we have many professors. We have so much knowledge, so many specialists. But where do we take that knowledge? And we believe that knowledge needs to somehow feed back into communities. In Japan, there is anyway this mindset for doing that. Driving social change is very important, and it's in this uncomfortable space where the DSSQ laboratory functions, where we draw from all of these areas. So, I want to go to examples because I think we understand the world better through examples. And Dawn and I have prepared 4 examples. On the Margin to Margin website, and this is where the title of our presentation comes from, I have worked on margins of society in, for example, Sami people in Finland, regional communities in very, very remote, harsh conditions, harsh climate. I've worked with indigenous people in South Australia, also living in harsh conditions, very, very small communities, far from everything, with limited resources, etc., etc. Also in Namibia, where I've worked with 550 women and 38 communities driving social change. So, just quickly, some of the examples that we are dealing with. So, we have, for example, the Textiles Cartographies project. So, essentially transdisciplinary, we don't work unless there is a community with whom we can work. And I really, really hope that we can make new connections also with KMUTT in this area, and very interesting discussions have started to emerge last night. But this project, for example, we work with 31 diverse groups in 21 countries internationally, and we have this far reached 9,000 participants globally. And it's a very simple project. It's a very simple concept where each participant tell their story from where they are from, who they are, and what they want to see change, whether it's about the climate, their community, and so on. And here is, for example, how we build the exhibitions, and using each little square that you see there is a story that someone has made, created, crafted with their memories, with their emotions. And these are very small, humble exhibitions, although this one was in the Gwangju Design Biennale in Korea last year. But we also use libraries, we use community spaces, we really reach out to work on a micro level. Here is another project, Type B Before Time, where we have collaborated, for example, on a fashion and textiles and art basis with an indigenous artist in South Australia who created the arts of these fashion, Sonia Coleman. And with her indigenous art, we then collaborated in Finland with Dr. Amna Qureshi, who worked with these beautiful art photographs creating textile prints. And then from the textiles, those textiles came back to my laboratory, and with my fashion background, design background, we then created a collection together. And this collection was shown on, for example, runways in South Australia, but also at the World Expo in Tokyo last year. So this is a complete different example, where we work on a very micro level, but with indigenous artists who don't have opportunities in bringing their art to the world. And this is a way where empowerment happens. And now over to Dawn.
My current research focuses on regional branding as a way to support the regeneration of marginalized regions. So today I'd like to briefly explain the method I use. It's called subsystems methodology. I chose this approach because this program involves multiple actors at the same time, and different stakeholders have different ideas of what is success, and self-reliance actually mean. And there isn't a shared definition of the program itself yet. So in situations like this, a linear analytical approach is simply not enough. Subsystem methodology helps make these different perspectives visible in a step-by-step way. So first, I look at the situation as the unstructured program, and next I use in-depth interview to create a rich picture that shows the program situation. Based on this, I develop a root definition and conceptual model from the viewpoints of different stakeholders. Finally, I compare this model with real-world situations and identify gaps and refine the process through action and feedback. And as this part of the process, I used a rich picture to visualize the program situation. Based on interview data, I created a rich picture to show relationship between actors, flows of resources, and points where disconnection happened. Through this process, three main patterns became clear, like this, number 2. So from this perspective, I could see the core program is not a lack of capability. Instead, it lies in a misalignment of system purposes, where different actors are moving toward different goals. In the next stage of my research, I aim to explore practical directions that can be better support self-reliance in regional fashion brands.
This is an excellent example how designerly ways of working with communities, understanding their root problems. And now we're going to go back to the last example, and we're going to take you all the way back to Japan, working with a regional community in Omuta. This Omuta city has an old heritage site called the Miyanohara coal mine site, where they have mined coal many years ago. And at this site, we were working with students using natural resources to recreate the space and to really understand ecological issues around a specific species. We worked with the Kasumi salamander as a symbol in this art project. So in this land art project, we worked with over 30 community members that came out, and they just helped us. They just came from nowhere. People were seeing that we were working, the students were doing something creative with the materials in the natural environment, and people came to join. Japanese people came out to help us. Elderly participants, ladies over 80 years old were helping us to get the materials ready, and we made this impressive 70-meter layout. So we use biodegradable materials, all from the natural environment. And this is only a part of the Kasumi's salamander that you can see. There were two of these two giant salamanders that we created. Here you can see everyone working, bringing the natural materials together. The whole design, the entire design was 70 meters. So there were two of these, and then also it showed the life cycle of this species. And then afterwards, everyone immersed themselves in the salamander. Now, what is the purpose of that? The most important learning from this experience, working physically, detaching young people from their screens, taking them out to work with community, to sweat, to walk 20,000 steps, is such an enlightening experience. Touching materials that we are afraid to touch, bringing these tactile and embodied experiences into learning is why we had to lie into this salamander, because it changed everyone's point of view. We were now the small human and the large species. Roles flipped. And we questioned afterwards, and students had fantastic discussions. How did that feel? How did my point of view change in this experience? And here we took a drone picture of what we created and the conclusion. So why do we do these projects? Why do we integrate art, social sciences with design? Because we believe we keep this space where we can continue to ask questions, this unfamiliar often, but also uncomfortable space, where we move away from our double diamonds and our toolkits as the designers, and we realize each community, each society that we are working with need their own tool sets. We need to help to create these with community and not think that we know it all. So we address inequality in access to resources. For example, we develop low-cost, low-tech alternatives. We take students in communities and working with materials. And we do longitudinal studies. For example, this land art project has been going already for 7 years, and we've done it in several areas across the world. The textile cartography project is now in its 4th year. We believe that we keep on going, doing what we do, because we need to reach participants. And then we also may distract from typical scientific approaches to create social impact. We're not trying to be scientific, we're trying to reach the community. And then we also experiment with more analog and embodied experiences. And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Finish your presentation in time, but do you have any simple question to this project? Any question to Professor Saranto? Okay. All right. So if you have questions, please use coffee break later and ask her and her student. Thank you very much. Okay, so third presentation will begin by myself. Actually, only in Kyudai now in Bangkok, I give presentations. So today, I want to introduce a very solid collaborative research between our university and KMUTT. So we're trying to build experimental psychology, cultural psychology research core in 3 years. So this is just the very first step of this project, but I want to introduce my background as well as this project. Oh, sorry. Okay. So my background is psychology, quite close to Professor Lawrence. And actually, I was born in China. I spent my first 22 years of my life in China and went to Japan in Kyushu University for my postgraduate study in 2005. And from 2005, I spent like more than 20 years in Japan, almost in Fukuoka. So in these 20 years, 18 years or 70 years in Kyushu University. So I entered Kyushu University for 3 times. Not by failure, but the first time is for a student, my postgraduate student. The second time is so I quit from a private company, consulting company, and joined Kyushu University as also assistant professor. And third time, I quit from another private university to join Kyushu University again as associate professor. So I think maybe we have a lot of alumni here at Kyushu University, but is anybody joined Kyushu University for 3 times? I think only me, right? So actually, when I was a postgraduate student in Kyushu University, I was studying basic psychology or fundamental psychology about visual perception, about this kind of visual illusions. So for human, everybody will see visual illusions. It's not kind of illness, but normal people can all perceive this. So we call this experimental psychology. So when you consider about psychology, maybe you will image like some counseling, or if you have some stressful things, you will consult with your psychology doctor. But that is only one part of psychology. We have this kind of very basic research conducted by experiment. And I have did several, research about these visual illusions. And also, I'm doing this now. But today, I want to share a different story about my field trip works. Actually, when I was a student, I just studied like this kind of environment in laboratories, very close to laboratories. But my first job in Kyushu University is in another institute called Decision Science for Sustainable Society. That means in that institute, I have to go a lot of different countries to do the field work. My first field work is in Cambodia, like almost 10 years, more than 10 years ago. I went to Cambodia with a lot of field researchers. And actually one of the field researchers, after lunch, he said, let's go to the water side to do some pilot survey. Okay, in my imagination, water side should be like this. If you Google water side, you will get this kind of pictures, right? But the place I really went, it's like this. So this is the water side in field researchers. So their water side is totally different with our concept of water side. So actually, it's quite risky, quite dangerous. And if you fall down, maybe it will be so dangerous. Another thing is that another anthropologist field researcher said, tomorrow we will have a field trip to temple, Buddhist temple, right? So when you image Buddhist temple, it should be like this. Not only in Cambodia, but also in Thailand, it should be like this. But the place we really went is like this. But it's really a temple because inside, there is a monk inside, and a lot of villagers just go there to pray, to everything Buddhism, everything like temple. But it's totally different with my imagination. So this is the first, opinion for me, that when we see a world just like waterside, or when we see temple, or we see conference hall, we see university, actually in different people, they will have different imagination. They will have different opinions. So your daily life is not my daily life. Your life is not my your life. So this is what I learned from this very first field trip for me. And from the same timing, I think almost 10 years ago, there is another concept in psychology. It's a replication crisis. Maybe some people who are familiar with psychology, maybe you know this word. That is, for example, very famous 100 psychological studies. Maybe you know some of them, very famous studies. But if you do the same experiment or do the same questionnaire, again, you cannot replicate the same result. This is very weird because, for example, science experiment in like chemistry or physics, you repeat several times and you can get the same result, right? Even mathematics or another science. But psychology is different. If you use the same questionnaire or same experiment to test different people, you will get different results. So people say that psychology is not science. Because if it's a science, you can replicate, you can repeat the result. One reason of this replication crisis were cited as weird problem. So what is weird problem? Actually, this is it's not the English meaning of weird. So actually, in one field, developmental psychology, focus on like the babies, young children, their psychological development. In this area, 90% of the participants in these studies, that means 90% of the young babies, young children, take part of this kind of experiment. They are from weird countries or weird society. So what is weird society? Actually, it's this kind of society. It's Western, educated, industrial, rich, democratic. So that means almost Western countries, like EU, like American, like also in Japan. So very famous for its developmental psychology studies. But how about the children in developing countries? How about the children in Africa, in Southeast Asia? There's a big lack of this kind of studies. So studies at non-weird societies are very necessary to solve this problem. Because a reason of this replication crisis is that, so a lot of these kind of studies were done maybe 20 years ago or 40 years ago. At that time, so like the young babies, at that time, they didn't have iPad, they didn't have YouTube. But now, the young children perceive a lot of information from this kind of electronic media. So their perception will be different with 40 years ago. So that is very important to do the same studies in diverse environment, in diverse societies. So this is actually the idea to me. I want to do this, I can combine the psychological experiment with anthropological fieldwork. And actually, this is a pilot research we did before the pandemic, collaborate with another university in Thailand. And you can see we just bring our device to the villagers. So this is a very normal village in Lopburi province in Thailand. And this is a community space for the village. So, and actually this is the chief of the village. The chief of the village. And he will collect a lot of like children and the people who are no work that day or no task that day to come to the community space to help our experiment. And this is another one in Saraburi province. I think there's a local festival over there. So we just go to the festival and find local people to join our experiment. And actually in this very pilot research, before the COVID-19, I think it's 2017, actually we get very interesting results. One of the results is this. So maybe if you see this picture, there's a curve here. Do you think this curve is mouth or nose? I want your hands here. So people who think this curve is mouth, please give your hand. Mouth. How about nose? Nose. Okay, maybe half and half. But when we did this in Lopburi and Saraburi, very interesting. the local people, most of them responses as no's. But when I do the same experiment in Japan, in the universities, almost all of the students, maybe 2/3 of students, will tell me this is mouse. So this is very simple experiment, but very simply told us that when people perceive this very simple face, people think different. Some people think this is nose, and some people think this is mouse. And after this, after the pandemic, we started the real collaboration with KMUTT, and by introduction of Dr. O over there, Onjai, we start a pilot field survey to a core-to-core program. This was done in 2023, I think before our core-to-core program. And our target is Mlabli. Actually, Mlabli people, almost 10 years ago in Japan, there's a small boom for Mlabli culture. There was a documentary film created by a Japanese director, so it's Mlabli in the forest. And the subtitle is The Last Hunter-Gatherers in Indochina. And so I saw this film, I saw this movie, and I thought that, is this the real life of Mlabli people? After 10 years, it's very long, very short and very long history. So are their life changed? So I have a question mark here. So by the introduction of KMUTT, the first time I visited the real Mlabli village. So this is the KMUTT research station in Nan province, I think. And actually I stayed here. Here is very, very convenient place. But to approach to the village is a little bit difficult because the road is not good, and in the rainy season it's very difficult to approach to the village. But this time, Dr. Onjai and Dr. Noraja just bring me to the village, and I saw the real Mlabli people. I saw the real life of the Mlabli people. And actually now they are trying to start new things because hunter-gathering is not stable. So by the support of the government and by the support of the university, they want to have more stable life in this village, in this area. So they start something like handcrafting, and I also try some handcrafting. It's like very good memory because after my hand gets like this, I think 1 week to make this disappear. Because it's very strong, I think. I don't know why, but I just try it, and after I went to Japan, it's still over there. It's very interesting, but yes, this is just a pilot survey. And after this survey, it enlightened me that this will be very fit to the GSPS core-to-core program. And now I want to briefly introduce this program. This is very important. And this program is supported by Japan Society of the Promotion of Science. Actually, this GSPS has a Bangkok office, and today we have the director of Bangkok office here. So maybe later in the reception, he can give some remarks. And the core-to-core program, I'm sorry, I have to read this because it's very important. Since fiscal year 2012, is almost 10 years ago, the GSPS has implemented core-to-core program, comprising 2 components. One is advanced research networks, and second, Asia-Africa science platforms. So we apply to the second one. So this program is designed to create top world-class research centers that partner over the long term with other core research institutions around the world in advancing research in leading-edge field on issues of high international priority and in areas that contribute to the solution of prevailing problems in the Asian African regions. It's very important. While advancing research in this field and building core research and education hubs in the Asia and Africa, the core-to-core program also concentrates on fostering the next generations of stabilizing your young researchers. A lot of keywords here actually. Asia, young researchers, core research, building something new, in very strong connection between institutions. So it's very fortunate, very lucky that this project was adopted from 2024, just after our pilot research. So actually this is a 3-year project from 2024 to 2027. And the budget is 20 million yen for these 3 years. And this is actually the most important and most interesting thing of this project. For most of the project, they don't demand you to spend how much money to travel expense, how much money to the research equipment, but this one, you have to spend more than half of this money to travel expense. That means you have to go to different country, your counterpart country, physically to go their field, to organize some symposium, physically to go there. And the mission of this project is, the first one, the most, detailed one is, we want to know how the Malawi people perceive and behave now. Because they are in a period of change. They will change from their old style of life to a new style of life. So we want to archive what kind of change has occurred in this very special period. And is there any difference with other people in Indochina? And why? From interdisciplinary viewpoints. So in our team, we have a lot of scholars, not only from psychology, but also from a lot of diverse disciplines of social science, and also from engineering. And this is the first quantum core field trip in NAM. We did this in September of 2024. And actually, all the team members just get together in NAM province, and we passed this very dangerous river. But now, recently, I visited here again. It's become a very concrete bridge. So, and like Dr. Norachat here, and Dr. Onjai also joined this trip. And last January, we had the first international symposium in Fukuoka. And you can see the delegates from KMUTT just came, and our senior vice president, executive vice president in charge of international affairs, Professor Iwata, also joined this symposium. And another thing, we have to develop young researchers in this quantum program. So we invite scholar from KMUTT Social Lab, Dr. Norachat, or his nickname is Kong, so we also call him Kong-san or something like that. We invite him 3 months per year. So in 3 years, that means 9 months. So it's like mid-term or long-term, because almost time of the year, he will study in Bangkok and also in Nam province in the field. So it's 3 months for him. It's very precious to come to Japan to be a visiting researcher. And we have very solid experiment in the field. So this is the first experiment I did in Nam in March 2025. So this is a video I want to show you. So, as you can see, because they were hunter gatherings, but now their life is being stable. So they have this kind of new house, I think supported by the government, maybe the government project, royal project. And you can see the children of Nabli. I don't want to take the video of their face as much as possible. So they are just wait here for the experiment. And this is like the waiting space. And this router is only method I can connect with the internet. Because my experiment need internet connection. So I use this router. I put the router here, and laboratory is inside. Inside is a laboratory. So inside this house, we are doing parallelly, we are doing 2 experiments. And these people just finish all the experiments and get some souvenir from Fukuoka and just come out. And this is the first booth. It's for the first step of visual illusion. We call this the Mueller-Lyer illusion. the psychologists know this very much. And you can see for a lot of the villagers, this is the first time for them to use computer. They use smartphone a lot, but this is the first time to use a mouse and keyboard. And this is the second booth for another culture psychology experiment. So this is very simple to just draw a line in the middle. And after they finish these two experiments, they can get the souvenir from Japan as a little bit reward and come out. Yeah, this is the first, I think this is the first psychological experiment in Mlabli or in Nan province I did. And in November of 2025, not in the future, I did another one. So this is a group experiment. So Dr. Gong helped me to collect a lot of teenagers in Mlabli to do the same experiment. So I just explain what kind of thing we will do, and Dr. Gong and the village leader helped me to translate to the young children. Yes, and actually this experiment is a very famous experiment in cultural psychology. That is, when you see this picture, what you can see. For most Eastern people, they will report, I see this is something like a river or a pond. There are a lot of vegetables, some fish, and some bugs, insects. They will answer like this. But for most of the Western people, they will reply, oh, there are 4 big fishes. So that's the difference. So the Eastern people, they will perceive the thing as a general picture. But the Western people, they will focus on the most important things here. So that is why we saw there's a difference between Eastern and Western. So how was the Thai people? How was the Mlabli people? I just want to know about this, and I did the same experiment to the young children. And actually next Monday, very next Monday, so the Thai team will come to Fukuoka, somewhat like Min-san or Oh-san over there, as you will come to Fukuoka, and for our second international symposium in Fukuoka. And Professor Shimizu will also join, and Lawrence will also join. So this is like our annual event every year, so just next Monday. But unfortunately, this is just on-site symposium. There's no hybrid, no Zoom link. So if you are additionally in Fukuoka, please come to Ito campus, and you can join this for free. Yes, and so this is the last slide of my presentation. The goal of this project is to create the very first experimental cultural psychology research core. We call this ECPRC, between the collaboration, under the collaboration between Kyushu University and KMUTT. And second one is beyond Mlabli, beyond psychology, because there's a lot of ethnic minorities in Thailand, in Southeast Asia, Indochina. So we want to find the difference and the common features of these different kind of people, and beyond psychology, not only psychology, but all the social science, which can contribute to the well-being of the local society. And remember, this is very first solid collaborative research in social science between Kyushu University and the KMUTT. So actually, I really want to appreciate our colleagues here, and like the Vice President here, to come today to know about this. Okay, thank you very much, and enjoy Kyudai now. Okay, a little bit earlier, but do you have a question about this project? Maybe we can go to the coffee break and have a friendly or casual talk. And actually, for the coffee break, we can enjoy now. But there were 5 poster presentations from Kyushu University students, just on the wall over there. So when you enjoy your coffee and snacks, please also enjoy the poster presentation. They really make very big effort to make the presentation, so please just ask them about their research. Okay, please enjoy outside. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. So we will have the second section. almost on time. Second session, the topic is about IoT, AI, life science, and innovation. So the first presentation of the second session will be given by Professor Arakawa Yutaka from Faculty of Information Science and Electrical Engineering of Kyushu University. So he will give a speech entitled Human AI Symbiosis Towards Well-being, Human Behavior Sensing, and IoT Nudge.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Yutaka Arakawa from the Kyushu University. So my department is the Information Science and Electrical Engineering. So so let's move to the next slide. So please, use your smartphone. So I prepared some Q&A chat. So this is a QR code for access. You need to log in by your Google account because I made it by the notebook LLM. But you can ask something with your language. You can input Thai, maybe response made by Thai. If you input Japanese, you can get Japanese. If you input something in English, you can get that. In each slide, this QR code appears. Anytime you can read on the back side or front side, and you can check. This is AI style presentation. So for making this AI, I input my more than 40 papers and a presentation into AI, and the AI automatically generates the Q&A system. Anyway, so my name is Yutaka, so I'm a professor in the laboratories. I study in, that's the introduction. I study in Tokyo and moved to Kyushu and moved to Nara and then finally back to Kyushu University now. And 7 years ago, I established my laboratory. And during my associate age and assistant age, I studied in DFKI in Germany and Toulouse and the UCLA. And I love to collaborate with the foreigners. And my research topic is the human activity recognition and the context recognition, the sensor system, and also the behavior change support system. So the talk today, my talk is maybe that the behavior change support system is the interdisciplinary research between the information science and psychology. And now I have 59 students in my research group. Not all the members come to the laboratory camp, but every year I go to the laboratory camp and play together. And now the number of PhDs is 15. Many students join my laboratories. I call it the Human Information System Research Group. And in the past, I have the students from China, Indonesia, Egypt, Taiwan, also Thai, and Tunisia, UK, India, Korea, France, and Madagascar is very rare student. And now I do the collaboration with the German Research Center and also the German University, and the Finland and Singapore. There are many collaboration international. And I hope that some student or some faculty member from Thailand come to my laboratory. It's my pleasure to do something together with. And my research topic is understanding the human behavior and changing the human behavior. So for understanding the status, for example, now you are listening to my talk, each person is concentrated on what, each person feel boring, I want to sense. So from the viewpoint of not only this talk, so from the morning to the night, so what kind of sensor is used for understanding human behavior? I always consider about that. So that is the IoT part, and we combine the data from the sensors and wearables, the smartphone, and we apply AI algorithm to understand the behavior. And 10 years ago, the AI power becomes very strong. I consider what happened in the future, and I imagine the AI change our behavior in future. And I started the behavior change support system and recommender system. So our group is someone focused on the sensing side. There are some keywords. So the mobile wearable sensing system and the energy harvesting and the acoustic sensing, the LiDAR sensing, someone make the hardware and or some sensing system. And another research group focus on the data analysis. So based on the collected data, so we try to understand the human behavior in any context. Not only the home, we collaborate with the office company to sensing the mental health of the employees. And also the driver skill recognition, that is a research collaboration with Toyota. And meeting analysis, research collaboration with Fujitsu or something. And also we developed many applications, mobile applications, the web system. The student is very good at making some softwares. So our technology is used in the various fields. So physical activity recognition is used in the smartphone and office, and we recognize the cooking, something. And also the psychological activity recognition is also widely used in the companies. And now we focus on the online activities. So we use the Zoom and Slack and many communication systems. I collected the data on such a web system and try to analyze the personality or mental health of the employees. And sometimes we deploy the sensor on the citywide and collect the big data from all over Fukuoka city and all over campus. So today I don't have so much time, so I just showed some example. I bring the 4 examples on the human activity recognition. Left side shows the sensorized belt. So we try to monitor the posture for continuously. So I embedded the sensor on the belt. And this belt also monitors our size of waist. If we eat a lot, this belt automatically calculates the legs and say something through the mobile phone. And please do the exercise or something. That is, I made maybe 10 years ago. And this is a commercialized chair made by Okamura. So we made the posture sensing chair. It also continuously monitor how the person sits. And we developed the sensor and the feedback system and deploy on the actual office and collecting the employees' posture data. And left bottom is continuous psychological monitoring. So as a rule, so in Japan, once a year, medical check, the health check exists. But the medical check is just once a year. It's not enough for checking the stress. So, but it is hard to monitor the stress for 1 year. So I focus on the smartphone and the smartwatch. So how they move, how they input, and from this kind of big data, I try to analyze the mental health. Every year I collected more than 100 employees' data and try to make the AI model for estimating the human mental health. The right bottom is finding the isolated user in the companies. We collected the Slack data, and in the Slack, so I sometimes mention someone, and we discuss like a conversation. And through this kind of activities, we can easily estimate the character of each person. And based on the stamps that you use, we can easily estimate the personalities. And based on that, the company manager easy to find who feel isolated or something. That is now make it commercialized by the companies. And after doing such a research, I considered so information technology becomes has a more strong power. This is a paper published 10 years ago. The name is defining the digital medicine. So watch has a measured time, also the watch has the activity recognition. But after approach 2015, it do the intervention. Please stand up. If you keep sitting more than 1 hour, watch say please stand. So and that becomes the paper called digital medicine. And as you know, so that maybe all the attendees have a smartphone, and we can get the SNS and push notification reminder. These kinds of information technology can change our behaviors. And of course, if we combine our behavior recognition technology, so this smartphone wearables can send us some good message at the good timing. It was called the software as a medical devices or digital therapeutics. Actually, in Japan, 3 applications have already become a medicine. If I go to the hospital and for stop smoking or hypertension or sleepiness, so the medical doctor provides not a medicine, they provide the application for changing our behavior. Maybe, so I want to apply such technology in the various fields. So, also in this topic we do several things. We call it the IoT nudge. I combine the sensing technology and the psychological things. So the left side is suppressing the congestion avoidance. So that is done during the COVID-19. So I deploy many sensors on the campus and the bus stops and monitor, accounting the people are there. And by combining the monetary incentive, we give the point to the student to change the timing of lunch, and try to make the push message to encourage them to change their behavior. And we do this research more than 3 years and publish several papers. And right upper side shows the stimulating the communication in group. That is the AI chatbot that so accelerating our communication on the Slack. The Slack so monitoring our behavior, and also I put the sensor on the student room, and based on the sensing data, AI sometimes propose the lunch. So let's go lunch together with blah 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 blah. So randomly, and also the coffee bot is very effectively work. So the chatbot says someone want to drink a coffee, and everyone say yes, 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 and randomly selected. Please make a coffee, sensei or something. Randomly selected, and make the friendship by using the AI chatbot. And the last one is a trick for using the behavior change. Is trash there, the garbage disposal in the laboratory, and someone must bring it to the ground floor. And I put the weight sensor under the garbage and at the light sensor, and encourage the student to voluntarily use their time and effort to the laboratory. And the light bottom is based on the design and the nudge, so the changing the driver's behavior by adding some information outside and inside the car. That's the problem with Toyota, and but it doesn't work so much. So but I try to do the next joint one with Toyota now. And what I want to say is IoT and AI and combine some different fields can be the behavior change. We can apply many research topics. So we collaborate with not only the information science and electrical engineering. I want to collaborate with the various research fields, the researcher in the research various fields. And currently, so I have many joint work with the companies, LTT, KDDI, Toyota, Kirin, Astellas Pharmacy, Motorola, Sony. Many companies focus on not only the information technology and electrical engineering. So such a interdisciplinary research becomes much attractive. So if someone wants to do such research, please contact me and do the research together. And so that is the final slide, but I prepared the Thai slide for the people for Thai. Can you understand what so I'm sorry, I couldn't understand. I cannot say this is correct or not. That is a summary of my talk. Is it correct? Maybe in future, maybe you can get this slide in future. So that is made by Notebook LM. So also the chatbot system is made by Notebook LM. So now I have more than 3 or 4 contracts with famous AI and always talk with AI. So maybe if the person who don't have never used AI, please start using it. Maybe. And today I so quickly talk about my talk. So as I said, I have the collaboration with many countries, and when I was an associate professor in the different university, I got a student from Thailand. And today, surprisingly, he is here. So I contact him to get the video message, but surprisingly, he is now in Thailand. So I invite Boom here, and he will introduce his experience studying in Japan and working in Japan.
Thank you so much, Sensei. Hello everyone, it's an honor to be here. Yeah, I would like to give a very quick introduction about myself, as well as chatting about the experience of studying, working, as well as living in Japan. So actually I have not so much relationship with KMUTT, Kyushu University, but maybe back in 2007, I actually had a chance to join the camp. It's organized by the Faculty of Computer Engineering. Yeah, it was 2007, so it was a very great chance for me to meet friends and also professors from KMUTT. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Natapu and you can call me with my nickname Poom. Yeah, right now I'm living in Japan, in Tokyo, working in Tokyo, and I've been there actually for more than 12 years. So yeah, I just got a chance to visit Thailand this week, so yeah, that's why I'm here. Okay, back to my history. After I went to the camp, fortunately I went to a different university for my bachelor's degree, which is Cytoskeletal University. I joined the computer engineering there, and after that I got a very good opportunity to move to Japan and join Nara Institute of Science and Technology. It was in Nara in Japan. And yeah, at that time I was supervised by Arakawa Sensei. And yeah, then after I graduated from Nara Institute of Science and Technology, I went to Rakuten Group. I'm not sure if anyone of you know Rakuten, but it is one of the global Japanese company in Tokyo. I joined as a front-end web engineer, and right now I'm in the position of vice senior manager. Yeah, so it's been 10 years for me as well working there in Rakuten. A little bit about my experience in this kind of academic field. So yeah, I just want to share how what kind of experience I had and why it is very good opportunities for me there. So firstly, I think I got the access to the world-class research ecosystem. I went to the Kyudai laboratory, which is supervised by Arakawa Sensei, and back then I got many good opportunities to do the research studies, a lot of budget. Yes, there are so many opportunities that I can get, including like I went to several conferences, like the domestic one, as well as the overseas one, like in California or Las Vegas. I went to the CES. I'm not sure if you know the consumer electronic kind of very big event for the new technologies. Yeah, and I also went to some competitions. Thanks to Arakawa Sensei, he suggested me to attend to some of the competitions, and I got some prizes there as well. Yeah, and lastly, after I graduated from university, as I mentioned, I went to Rakuten, and I developed my career until today. I've been enjoying working at Rakuten until now. Yeah, so maybe there are some students in this room, so I just want to encourage them. If you guys are still considering whether you want to come to Japan or not, or whether you want to get some opportunities to work or to study abroad, I think I think you will not going to regret that because you will get a lot of opportunities and yeah, maybe you enjoy more than you thought right now. And lastly, my last slide. Okay, so other than studying, I also enjoy my life in Japan so much as well. I went for like cycling, I went hiking, I went also like taking a lot of photos. So yeah, that's what I could enjoy much more than when I was in Thailand. So yeah, that's actually all about my presentation. So if you are interested more about my background or if you want to know more about the study in Japan, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or my email address as well. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for this opportunity and thank you, Sensei, for giving me this time as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe it's a good time to finish.
Yes, but
If someone has
still,
a question,
yeah, still have maybe 2 minutes. So if you have simple question, please ask him, the group. Any question? Simple one and maybe interesting one. Please.
Simple question. What's it like working at Rakuten?
What's it like working in Rakuten? It's a global company. Of course, it's a Japanese one. But so if you consider Rakuten as a global company, maybe Rakuten is not as global as other like big companies like Amazon, Google, and so on. But if you consider compared to Japanese company, Rakuten is much more global. So I have so many like foreign colleagues, and the culture there is also very, very global. So
you don't need to use the Japanese.
Yeah, I don't use Japanese at all. Yeah. I don't speak Japanese so much, because in workplace I only use English. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay.
So my name is Saroj. I used to be the former assistant professor from Sesam University. Now, the freelance veterinarian and also the consultant and also the sport commentator for True Missions. First of all, excellent presentation. I'd like to ask you, do you have any plan to use your technology for the aging population in Japan and also in Thailand? Thank you. Yeah, for Professor.
Once again, so you.
From your presentation, will you have plan to use like the sensor for the senior citizen in Japan and also in Thailand in future?
City central.
Like for the old people.
Senior. Okay. Yeah.
So
senior is elderly. Yeah. It's so now. So the one project is focused on the senior elder society. So, but for that purpose, so that we use the sensor and also AI might be very important because the number of population decrease. So not all the younger people care the elderly people. Maybe so the AI and the human collaboratively care the elderly person in future. So we can combine AI, robotics, so something. And not only Japan is it becomes a senior society already. But in future in Thailand becomes the same. So I think so we should do, and I will do. Yeah.
Exactly. I'd love to discuss with you more in detail after this. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, any other simple question? Okay, thank you very much, Professor Arakawa and Hong. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's have our second presentation of this session from Assistant Professor Kuboki Tasania. from our Institute of for Materials Chemistry and Engineering at Kyushu University. And today she will deliver a speech entitled Elastic Hydrogels Delay Stem Cell Aging by Maintaining Redox Balance and Cytoskeletal Function. I'm sorry, I cannot resist, but yeah. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Tasmiya. So, first of all, I would like to thank for the opportunity from Kyushu University and also the KMUTT to provide me opportunity to attend. It's the first time for me to attend the Kyudai last week. And just the coincidence because from the previous question is related to the aging. So my research is also related to the application of biomaterial to delay aging of the stem cell. So I'm working in the Institute for Material Chemistry and Engineering. So actually I'm a medical scientist with a molecular biology background, but by somehow so I attend this laboratory of biomedical and biophysical chemistry. So our laboratory is under the division of applied chemistry in the Institute of Material Chemistry and Engineering. So our institute is focused on the study of the structure and function of the biomaterial from atomic and nanoscale and to the macro scale. And my work is something related to biomedical engineering. So talk about the aging. So you know that now we are in the aging society, and from the rough calculation, so by 2050, around 2 billion people will have the age over 60 years. So you can see that Japan is already in that kind of situation, and Thailand is following soon. So these show the we call the population curve. You can see that in the case of Japan, maybe by 2050, we have the majority of population is greater than 20 years old. And in the case of Thailand, so around 2030, so major population is around 60 years old. And so this one is leading to the long-term healthcare costs, which is come from the aging and age-related diseases. So aging associated with the both mental, such as the Alzheimer or depression, and physical like heart disease, joint, bone, or some accidents such as fall or injuries. So the problem need to be this problem is leading to the concept of the healthy aging to cope with this situation. So as shown here is a rough estimation of the cost from the elderly health bill from 2015 until 2030. Cost of almost 20 trillion US dollars, so cost a lot of money. So that's why people try to make concept of healthy aging, because we cannot avoid aging, so just how to age healthily. So the healthy aging is mean that try to promote the health and prevent injury and manage the chronic medical condition and optimize the physical and cognitive mental health and also facilitate social engagement. So in order to understand the development of aging, so we have to know that there is many contributors or stressors that induce the aging. So this may be from the cellular level, like the change, abnormality of your gene or DNA, which leads to the aging in the tissue, organ, and body level. So actually for my work, it's just in the cellular level. And also some external stimuli such as the nutrition, like if you eat a lot of junk food or high sugar food, so this one will accelerate this aging mechanism. And stem cells are the important tool for the studying aging and treating the disease. So they have the clinical property such as they can turn to, they can make a copy of themselves and can turn to the different cell types such as the bone, fat, and muscle cells, and they can heal the damaged tissue. So the stem cell can help the scientists to understand how aging works and help to treat the disease. So you can use the stem cell for model some disease. For example, on the dish like this, we can model so Parkinson or Alzheimer's disease, or even in the animal model using the stem cell as model. But for the stem cell therapy, so we need to obtain the stem cell from the donor, and in the case of stem cell from the bone marrow, so we have specific term for mesenchymal stem cell or MSC. So in order to treat the people, for example, you got the bone marrow from the young donor and then used for treat the old patient. But unfortunately, the population of stem cell in the bone marrow is very rare, so around 0.001 to 0.01%, around 10 or around 1,000 cells per 1 ml. So each time, in order to obtain the bone marrow, can get just few ml. But for the therapeutic dose, when you want to use the stem cell for treatment, so you will find about 1 million or 100 million cells. So you can see the big different magnitude of the number of cells needed. So it's unavoidable to try to increase population of stem cell by growing them in the laboratory. So usually when we culture the stem cell on the laboratory, so we use what we call tissue culture plate, which is plastic or some culture glass to make them increase population. But again, unfortunately, so we find out that after growing the stem cell in the laboratory, so this one induces aging. And in order to understand how this stick plastic can induce aging, so there is a group of scientists that work in the biomechanics or microbiology or tissue engineering. So they study what we call the stiffness of the native tissue. So as we know that inside our body is rather soft, like so the stiffness of the native tissue, so they call unit as the Pascal. And inside the body, so we have a very soft, much softer stiffness, like brain is around 1 kilopascal range. And even in the case of bone, the stiff one, okay, is 15,000 kilopascal. So if you can imagine how soft, so like around 1 kilopascal, the edible jelly gummy is around 1 kilopascal. But on the plastic dish, the tissue culture dish, the stiffness is gigapascal, so it's 1,000,000 kilopascal, much different from the condition of inside our body. So when the cell adhere to the plastic dish, so they experience very big different stiffness. So this one is one of the contributing factor to induce aging and stress. So you can imagine that if you sleep on the mattress, like too soft, also not so good for your body, and too hard, also not so good. So the just right stiffness is good to maintain your body condition. But if compared to the tissue culture vessel, imagine that you sleep on the floor, very stiff floor, so your body is very tired and stressed. So this one is we believe that can induce the aging. And the aging is start from the cellular level, and the aging cells, so they have the specific term for senescence, or the nickname is the zombie cell. I'm not sure that maybe you're familiar with the character of the zombie. So the zombie is an undead state, and they have non-communication, so you cannot talk to zombie, right? And but they remain active, and but also functional impairment. They walk at a very strange or slowly, and still require nutrition. They want to eat, and contagiousness, so they can infect. They infectious, so the zombie will bite other humans, so they can turn human into zombie as well. So they don't die, they just spread the bad society. So the senescent cell is similar to zombie because once this senescent cell appears, so they can cause the senescence of the neighboring cells, induce the aging of the neighboring cells. in the case of young people, so we have the system to clearance this zombie cell. But when you're getting old, so it's difficult to remove the zombie cell. So the population is increased. So you can see from here, the normal cell is like small like this, but zombie cells, so they have irregular shape and intense staining of some senescence marker. So in the biomaterial field, so we try to develop what we call anti-aging biomaterial in order to aiming to reverse or reduce or improve the aging based on the property of biomaterial that try to mimic the native extracellular matrix or native tissue environment. So the biomaterial comprised of various kinds such as hydrogel or nanoparticle or vesicle. And among these, hydrogel is rather popular because they are multifunctional material that are used in many biomedical applications, tissue engineering or excellent drug delivery, lubricant, or wound dressing. So as shown here is the accumulated number of the searching key for the material. So you can see that hydrogel is have the strong hit. So rather popular material. And in our laboratory, so in my case, so I try to apply the biomaterial for the aging research. So there is the study show that instead of culture the cell, the stem cell on the stiff tissue culture plate, so when you maintain the cell on the soft substrate, so this one can reverse the aging phenotype, but the mechanism still unknown. And in our laboratory, so we can fabricate the hydrogel with with what we call the photocurable modified gelatin. So it's gelatin gel. So this gelatin gel is photocure. So in the presence of photo initiator, so when we irradiate the gel, so they become stiff. So short time irradiation, so we can get soft hydrogel. But longer time irradiation, so the gel is stiffer. So we can make this range of around 1 to 100 kilopascals stiffness, which is mimic the native tissue nature. And we have the method to characterize the property of the hydrogel using what we call atomic force microscope. So atomic force microscope is different from general microscope we see from the objective lens and just see the sample, but atomic force microscope is used the technique that they have the specific probe here. So the probe is directly attached to the surface of the sample. For example, consider as the probe as the finger, so when you touch the desnia, so you know this one is hard, or when you touch your own body, so this one is soft, and you also can know that these desks have some roughness. So this is special technique that we use for measure the stiffness of the gel that we make. And for my research, so I just go briefly. So I maintain the stem cell on the gel compared to tissue culture dish, and we can delay the aging. So this one is on the stick substrate. You can see, if you remember the zombie cells, so they have the strong intense staining or senescence marker, but on the hydrogel, so this one is suppressed, and the marker for the senescence also decreased on the hydrogel. So we can suppress the aging of the stem cell. And also we can maintain their therapeutic function. So when the cell age, so they walk slowly and they cannot grow, they cannot expand and they lost like bone reproduction property, but when maintained on the stem cell on the gel, so we can maintain this property. So just some brief introduction of my research. So as a conclusion, so when we maintain the MSC on the hydrogel, so this one can induce the healthy aging, so can delay aging and also promote the health of the stem cell. So this one will contribute to the fabrication of the platform for increase the population of stem cell and can maintain the function. So that's all my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Kuboki. It's a very important issue actually for everyone here. So do you have any question or concerns or any comments to her presentation? Still have time, so if you have any question, please.
Thank you so much for your talk. I'm really surprised about that zombie cells. Like, yeah, it's quite new to me. I mean, and we also discussing that we also study a little bit about like tissue engineering stuff, but never heard about it that much before in the research field. My quick question gonna be like, is there any kind of like common treatment right now? Because this like 2017, it has come to like commercial science right now to have any drugs or substance or help curing this kind of thing.
Yeah, actually, they have this specific term called senolytic. Senolytic. So just trying to discard the zombie cells. So this one also like a very hot research topic right now. But we cannot say that we have the drug to kill aging. So that one is maybe beyond too much. just delay or something.
Okay, but then to my understanding, it's just aging in terms of like metabolic aging, right? For this specific capsule, or it also affects the appearance and behavior as well.
So from cellular level, so they start to be very strange, and then after that, so for example, if the zombie cell is accumulated very much, so it affects the tissue level. So if your tissue age, so organ also age. So it's like a hierarchy, just from the cell and then affects the whole body.
Thank you so much.
And if you search, just Google search
Yes,
zombie cell, so they will show this kind of.
I just found like this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Alright, so just it's a simple question. I'm just curious. What is the baseline of the aging people? From how do we know that there's like a senescence already coming out? You know, like our cells are being like deteriorating. So what's the baseline for each?
I don't think there is the exact baseline to tell that. Maybe it's case by case because it's not in the cellular level. So you have to. So maybe it's better if we can detect aging in the early stage. But so far there is no like a threshold to tell that yet.
Okay. Any other questions? Maybe you are very interested in this topic, right?
So tomorrow I will talk more detail.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you have time, so please join.
So for the stem cell therapy treatment, I heard in China it's very famous, but a lot of like the rich people will have this therapy.
For younger.
Yeah, for younger. So do you think it's do you think it's really have effect, or because I don't know in Japan or in the other countries, in China it's very expensive actually to get this kind of therapy. So do you think the cost should be like very expensive or?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I also heard that in Thailand there is some. I'm not sure that it's really effective or not, but rich people so they want to look younger, so
yes.
they undergo stem cell treatment.
So the materials should be very expensive, right, for the therapy treatment.
Yes, because like I said, so far we cannot produce the high quality stem cell
Okay.
in the therapeutic dose yet.
Okay.
So that's why our research is still in the cellular level or in the experimental level. But if we can make the good material, so we can produce high quality stem cell.
Okay.
Thank
you very much. So we're to human's nature, human's future, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So this is the second presentation for the second session. So next, I would like to introduce Dr. Scott Rowan from Kyushu University Open Innovation Platform Company Limited. Actually, this company was established by our university. He will deliver a speech entitled Overview of Open Innovation Platform and Startup Co-Creation at Kyushu University.
So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Scott Rowan, and from the Kyushu University Open Innovation Platform, or as we usually refer to it, just Kyushu University OIP, or just OIP. And today I'd like to talk about what we do at OIP and our role in startup co-creation at Kyushu University. So as Kun Sensei mentioned, OIP is actually a company that was established by the university almost 2 years ago. So it's a fully owned subsidiary of the university. So prior to that, the functions of OIP were actually part of the internal organisation of the university. But at that time, the university management and leadership made the decision to move those functions into a separate company, primarily to allow OIP to scale its functions more effectively, to move at greater speed, to support university researchers, and also to be more proactive in planning for the future innovation and startup ecosystem that surrounds the university. I'll just mention that as of yesterday, OIP actually has an English website. So if you Google Kyushu University OIP, you'll be able to view some more information about the company in English. So firstly, where are we located? So we're actually quite close to the Ito campus of Kyushu University, just here. It's about between 500 metres and 2 kilometres from the university, depending on which part of the campus you are going to. So it's good exercise if you're walking to and from our office to the university. And we're actually located in a facility called Ito Lab Plus, which is an integrated retail, residential and R&D facility. So here's the OIP office here in this R&D building. Over here you have a bookshop and a coffee shop. Here there are some restaurants, or there were some restaurants that have unfortunately closed down. And over here you have residential accommodation for university students and staff. And so actually in this building where OIP is, there are also located a number of university-based startups. And in this building behind Ito Lab Plus, the Fukuoka city government also has a facility where they rent out lab and office space to startups from Fukuoka. So we're quite centrally located within the university's innovation and startup ecosystem. And the longer term plan here is for this to develop into a much larger technology park where we also have industry co-located with academia and government as well. So Kyushu University OIP is composed of 3 main teams. The first one is the issue-driven team. Now, the issue-driven team has an industry focus. So when industry wants to consult or work with the university on solving a problem, the issue-driven team is their first point of contact. And they will work with industry to find opportunities for joint research, for industry to work with researchers at the university to solve a particular problem they may have. The second team is one called the vision-driven team. And the vision-driven team is responsible for, I guess, the overall innovation ecosystem surrounding the university and the surrounding community. So they really look at what is needed to support a strong and robust innovation ecosystem in Fukuoka in the future, and what do we need to do, what facilities do we need, what people do we need to build and sustain that environment. And so one of the things they will do as part of that, for example, is if industry comes to the university wanting to solve a problem, and they find some researchers to partner with, but industry doesn't necessarily want to establish a company by themselves or with the researchers, then the vision-driven team may actually, an OIP may take the decision to establish that company themselves under OIP to support the innovation project. And then the last team is one called the science-driven team, and as the name suggests, this one is primarily driven by the science or the research results that are coming out of the university. So their primary role is to support the university's researchers and students in developing innovative projects. So I'm a member of the science-driven team, so I'll just talk a bit more about what we do in that team. So within the science-driven team, there are two core functions. The first one is IP, intellectual property, management, and commercialization. So when researchers come to us with some research outcomes, they may not be sure whether or not that IP can be protected or how it can be protected. So we will work with them to identify ways to protect that IP, whether it's through a patent or some other mechanism, and then we'll also help them develop a plan to develop a business around that intellectual property. The other main function of the science-driven team is startup creation, and so we do this in a number of ways. One of the main ones is providing funding to researchers to take their research outcomes through to a proof of concept stage. We also help them to find other team members to partner with to help them develop their ideas into businesses. And then we also offer a range of acceleration and mentoring programs to equip them with the knowledge, if they so desire, to lead their own startup in the future. And the overall goal of this science-driven team is to create startups based on the university's research, and by doing so, create an ongoing source of funding for the next wave of startups that come out of university research. So in a mature state, hopefully you have like an ongoing cycle of research being commercialized, generating outcomes, financial and otherwise, for the university and the community, and then some of that financial outcome feeding back into the university to fund further commercialization of research. So, talking about the ways in which we fund startups from the university, one of the major programs that we support is called the PARKS program, which stands for the Platform for All Regions of Kyushu and Okinawa Startup Ecosystem. Bit of a mouthful. So PARKS is actually a program that's funded by the Japan Science and Technology Agency under the Ministry of Education. It's a 5-year program, and it's actually one of 9 programs like this across Japan that cover all regions of Japan and provide this support to universities in those regions. So for PARKS, we support Kyushu and Okinawa, and also Yamaguchi Prefecture, which is just north of Kyushu. And there are 20 universities participating in this program at the moment. And Kyushu University, in collaboration with the Kyushu Institute of Technology, is the co-lead for this program. And you can see down the bottom there of the picture, we've got two commercial organisations involved as well, OIP, and then also Fukuoka Financial Group, their venture partners division, which provides sort of commercial support to the overall program. So I'll just talk quickly about how the Parks program works. So it's made up of a number of steps. The first step is really about investigating the research outcomes that are held by the university researchers and working out whether that can be developed into a business. What are the practical applications for that research? And that step lasts for 1 year, and each year approximately 40 projects are selected for that step from the 20 universities that participate in the overall program. And in addition, there are 10 student projects selected as well. So the researcher projects receive 5 million yen for 1 year funding, and the student projects receive 1 million yen for funding. And so Kyushu University has done reasonably well so far. This program is currently in the 3rd year of the 5-year program, and in the 2 years so far, about half of the successful projects have come from Kyushu University researchers and students. So then at the end of that first step, if the project is showing potential and the researcher wishes to continue, they can apply for this step 2-1. And this is really about progressing towards that proof of concept and I guess critically evaluating the commercial value of the potential business based on that research. So at this stage, one thing that needs to happen is that the researcher needs to partner with a commercialization support organisation. So that can be a company, it can be a bank, or it can be an individual with experience in startups. So the requirements are quite flexible, but they do need to have at least one commercial partner as part of their team for this step. So this step goes for 1.5 years, and they get access to an additional 20 million yen. But as you can see, it gets quite a bit more competitive. Only 12 projects are selected each year for this step. And then finally, there's a step 2-2, and this is really about solidifying and consolidating the team that's needed to create the business. This is another 1.5 years and an extra 40 million yen worth of funding. But once again, at this stage, only 6 projects can be selected. So overall, if a researcher goes right through the whole program, they can access funding for up to a total of 4 years and up to a total of 65 million yen to investigate and create and consolidate the business plan for their startup. And so we do have a similar program to Parks that specifically focuses on the healthcare and medical field. That's called QUIC, and it's funded by the Japan Agency for Medical Research and Development. So I know that Kabuki Sensei also has received some funding from this organisation. So this is focused in Western Japan, and once again Kyushu is the lead. Kyushu University is the lead university for this program, and it operates in a similar way to the Parks program. So there's a funding cycle each year where a number of projects are selected to investigate commercialisation of the research outcomes. So I'll just talk quickly about some of the other support programs that we offer under the Parks and Quick programs. One of them is this Entrepreneur in Residence program. So traditionally, an entrepreneur in residence would be employed, within a company, and they would look for ways for that company to expand their business into new markets or new areas, and then potentially they would then move into that startup on behalf of their company. At Parks, what happens is the entrepreneurs in residence are actually employed by OIP. So at the moment we have 3 entrepreneurs in residence who are staff members of OIP. And so what they actually do is they look at all the projects that are selected for the Parks program and the Quick program, and they try to identify those that have potential and have a good match with their own experience. And so what they'll actually do then is join those teams and help them prepare their applications for funding, and then support those teams throughout the execution of the program as well. So in that way we try to, fill that gap between the research focused end of the program and the business focused outcome that we are working towards. Another way that we try and help the startup teams is through what we call this CXO bank, where a CXO is, a person that can perform in a senior management role for a startup. So they might be the chief executive officer, or they might be the chief technology officer, or they might be the chief people officer. So what we look to do is create, a database, a resource bank of people with that type of experience that the projects selected for the Parks program can engage with and have them support their project throughout the funding period. So typically these management candidates are engaged part-time, so they might work on a project up to 20 hours a month, and then they'll work with the researcher to develop the business plan for the project, to engage with potential investors, and develop the business plan for the startup further. And then the last initiative that we have recently started is something called the Innovation Challenge Fund. So one of the challenges with government funding programs like Parks and Quick is they can have limitations on time or areas of application. So we wanted a way to supplement the startup funding in a more flexible way. So what we have done here is work with industry to develop an additional funding mechanism for startup projects. And so what they can do here is actually apply for top-up funding to help them, progress towards their proof of concept and startup creation in a shorter time frame. So just in closing, I'd like to give some examples of startups based on Kyushu University technology. So as you can see here, I would say overall about half of the startups from Kyushu University so far have been in the life sciences or biotechnology field. And you can see here that a number of those companies are represented, particularly in pharmaceuticals and biotech. But we also have a number in other sectors such as carbon recycling, IT and networking, and also space. And a number of those startups have reached a stage where they've actually achieved a public listing. So Helios and Cyfuse in the pharmaceutical area there, and then IQPS in the space sector in satellite manufacturing, and then Picosella, which is actually listed on the NASDAQ So although the number of startups that are established in Kyushu and Okinawa is still small compared to in particular the Tokyo region, we are seeing some good success under programs like the Parks program, and that program to date has resulted in the establishment of about 39 startups so far. So yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wan. So it's actually very new, company established by Kyushu University. So do you have any question about this new project or company, or about the parks kind of funding? It's okay. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So maybe we can talk later in the dinner reception. Okay, lastly, in this session, we will have our last presentation given by our alumni who is working in KMUTT. And let me introduce Dr. Kajong Onjai from Faculty of Engineering, KMUTT University of Technology, Tombly. He will deliver a talk entitled How My Experience at Kyudai Shaped Who I Am in My Profession.
Thank you so much, Kun, for introducing me. Like they said, my name is Kajong Unjai, you can just call me O. And this section is basically alumni sharing sessions. It has been briefed that it can go everywhere, like it can be like funny life story and mixing both. To me, I just would like to share because I know that some students come and many of them still on hesitation of study abroad. I just would like to share how life over there affect me. And in this story, it's going to include Kun and Professor Lawrence quite a lot because these two main persons that I met in the past when I were students. My background is computer engineer. I shift a little bit to my old logical engineer, and then I go to study psychology, basically, under Lawrence Sensei Labs. And I think instead of talking about like current kind of research career, which is still ongoing, I still do the publication, I do industrial research and those kind of stuff. I just would like to track back because for KMUTT people, I'm kind of like a broad person. I join many projects, and most of them also look really separated from one another, from material science to social science to psychology, back to data science, and those kind of stuff. So the story happens, if I'm gonna wrap up and link it back to this, to my own experience in Kyudai, is basically about a time being over there. At that moment, the campus starting to shift from Hakusaki to Ito campus. The ecosystem around Ito campus still not really well established yet at that particular moment. So in many times, I need to go back to Owashi campus, Madashi campus, and the other place in downtown to do stuff. And also, back in the day, we didn't have like direct support from General Consulate yet because it doesn't have Thai General Consulate in Fukuoka. Just to sharing for many people who didn't know it, here is Ito campus, here is the airport. So mainly in the past, I living around here in the hospital campus is old images because it's from like the old template that I got in the past. And you can see like back in my day, they have like a couple of campus spreading around all over Fukuoka. And Ito campus is like the biggest one, the newest one. I work closely in the hospital campus, which is have the former main campus over there. Just guessing where I live. I live here. It's down to the south. Why? Because a couple of reasons. I got Thai government scholarships. I have a chance to go to study at least the basic daily Japanese communication over there. And by consulting university staff back in the day and try to find a middle way between language school and Maidashi campus and those kind of stuff. I've been pretty there. In the place called Sherry Star Hakata, but it's in Ijiri Station. Also, it's a shared apartment. And I think that is kind of like not best option so far, but somehow it's a really good start for me. Why? Because shared apartment is the first time I have really cross-cultural life. Over there, this is the middle place, like the open area in my share house. Okay, in our share house, this is like the share kitchen. We have like 2 share kitchen over there. So you can see like it's really, really mixed culture. There are many students from design school because Oashi campus is the closest to my house. It's just 5 minutes by bicycle. But then there are also Japanese students who need to study in Shiguchi campus, also like in the Maidashi campus as well, and they mix up around here. So this share house become kind of like open-minded space for me because I need to meet people from totally different cultures, and they start to open up my mind. This is like a group of friends, like a very early group of them. You can see like they came from almost totally different countries, like Wu from Taiwan, Lorenzo here, Frederick there. They also like a couple more spreading around. So I'm starting to stay in that area until very Thai engineer heavy mindset of mine is a little bit melted down. because those group of people, many of them came from design school. Like for example, this guy here. Okay, so now he worked with MS, basically just like playing designers, and he just we're getting drunk together all night actually in the share house, and he just keep telling me the beautifulness and why the ineffective way of handcrafting lecture will be more important for me, not just for the customer of the fashion design brand, but also for me as well to learn why handcraft stuff will be more important, even though it's kind of like less effective in my opinion. Okay, so living among them is kind of like changed my mind that okay, then maybe if I'm breathing along and trying to follow their logic experimentally, one by one, maybe I'm gonna learn something, and I might change. Okay, so this is something I never do before. This is a group of Thai students, very close friend of mine. Some also here as well. He's a mechanical engineer. Now he opened a startup company in Thailand in the medical devices. Kai, he is from the social science school and now working at NIDA. So we mix up together simply because like I just try to ride a bicycle and I want to know how far I can ride. And he is kind of leader of our group. So he bring us actually to Sada. Actually we ride a bicycle from Ito campus to Arima and then come back for the whole day. It's extremely nice trip. We need to train for many months before we can go that far, and it's really painful. I mean, everyone regret that, regret this thought. At first, we think we're gonna go to Hirao, which is like much farther than that, and then we turn back. But anyway, it teach me many things doing that thing. That nothing that I can truly learn except I try to experiment that. Okay, I just need to join and melt in that experiences before I can judge that it's going to work out or not. Okay. So it's great me to be a person who learn and try to open up for learn from other discipline. Okay, especially from art and social science. Why these two? One main reason is because actually my advisor, when I searched his name in the past, I didn't see his research at all. I saw only his poetry and a book in Amazon, which is I'm kind of like afraid that I'm searching for wrong person. But then and eventually I just dig up and it's like that's the same Johann Lawrence, but why he have like 2 sides, one like heavy research. Back in the day, you still do the rat research, right? Animal research, and you also have written a lot of books. And after discuss, it's kind of like art, the way of thinking for art people is kind of fascinating me, but I don't understand yet. The other thing is about social science stuff, simply because my really close friend, people here, yep, he is from social science school. And discussing with him is kind of opened up quite a lot for me that social science people really adopt scientific method in very pure way, like have really high purity of the way they thought with the scientific method that they adopt and use in their researchers. So I open up quite a lot. One benefit of being Kyudai student is your advisor, and most of advisors that I know, they really open for their students to join anything that not disturb their study program. For example, I'm in my national campus, hospital campus. Our lab starting to move, like Jan starting to move 2 days a week, go to the Ito campus, quite far away. But then I'm asking him, like, there one really interesting class in ORG campus, in the School of Design. I want to join, can I join? And he said, like, yes, just like simply yes, and sign paper for me, and I open and I join the class with Inamura Sensei over there, and become a part of trying to understand design team. In this challenge, they collaborated with Aalto University, with Finnair airline, and then we trying to create new way of digital touchpoint. But the class name is Agile Management, which is I don't understand why it's named like that until finish the class. And it turned out that every process along the way before we create the output for Inamura Sensei and teaching to Finnair executive is actually well managed to embed us in the experiences of Agile Management team. That I need to match up with people from design school, from the other school, mash up together and sprint a product out. Lucky enough that I'm a team that wins this award and went to Helsinki to present to Finnair executive. This is another kind of thing that I see and really surprised me because I'm computer geek. I didn't think this thing came out before the gaming world, but it's turned out it's not. It's starting from like 30, 70 years ago. The other thing I really want to know after I joined Inamura Sensei class is that I'm really fascinated with photography. And I thought maybe if I learn to do photography like seriously, then maybe I will understand a little bit more about how art people think. And he suggested me like, why don't do it with film and do everything by yourself. So I bought film cameras. Over there, he bring me to like the old shop in close to Tenjin. It's middle way between Tenjin and Hakata. I started to learn how to do photograph without digital stuff. He teach me how to, develop film in my bathroom as well. So 100 of them that I do during 3 years in Fukuoka, and I keep doing that, And this is like a really good practice for me. One thing that I learned from this process is art people have really high critical skill. To me, I never criticized my work this hard before. I mean, I looked at the film, I saw really cute pictures. I feel like this one is good. I sent back to people in design school, and he said like, throw it away. You need to take more, like 100 more of them. And you selectively take a best one that you don't think you can develop it further. You just need to go to the same place on the same time, try to shot the same composition again and again until you find the best one that you really feel you can not develop further. And it reflects me back to the thought process that Jan trained me in lab. Okay, in our lab, we quite really serious about the quality of the work. Okay, and I will show you later on that there's something that I never done before. So the other thing that I try is by social science aspect. I joined many workshops, and one of the workshops I love the most is by local government in Aso. It's from Minami Okuni. They posted in Ito campus that is there any student who want to join? I just like keep saying yes and go. And turn out I become like farmer labor for a couple of days over there. And experience like the life over there and how every person try to keep traditional of Aso people survive do everything by hands and try to mix between, daily life, new science that being adopted and impact. Okay. Here is one of the family that I would like to mention. These two elders. They live there, not just, trying to make living by shiitake, but they also work as a forest guardian. The mechanism that has been driven is by scientific research, and in very surprising way to me. Here it is. Okay, so in order to grow this big and valuable, not just shiitake, it's many types of shroom. I'm sorry, I forget all the names. But the idea is that in order to grow it in the best conditions, instead of mimic it in a greenhouse or any shroom harvester or the incubator, the best way is to put it on the log and put it in the forest. And the humidity over there is perfect for itself to grow and have the perfect sense that came out. So the idea is researchers from many universities go there to this area, try to create a new inoculation type and transfer it to the farmer. And say, if you keep protecting the forest to make it green, to cover all the areas and have high humidity like this for 4 years, then at the end of the year, your family will get rich by this shroom. And it turned out that these family and the nearby villagers keep protecting everyone who try to invade or do the illegal lumberjack over there because they want to preserve their incomes from the mushroom. And that is the new perspective that I never seen before. How to apply science to create impact, create new economics, and preserve many stuff. Even on the lumberjack, this one is legal one. Okay. They also have researchers came over there to create a heat map from the aerial photograph, and they have limitation that they can take down only 2 trees a day. So they need to selectively taking down a tree that in the spot that might create a fire, wildfires, in that kind of sense. So when I get deep dive in there and help there as a laborer, I learned how they mix up, the basic research in science and try to apply to the social science people to create impact over there. And that shape up where I'm quite a lot to, open mind and try to apply what I know. Okay. So on professional life, that reflects back to the fact that I become really criticized on my work a lot more. Actually, at the moment that I have good enough of data to graduate, I come to Jan, and actually I'm crying that day. Simply because I feel like that experiment is a big failure for the whole 8 months. It's totally in the opposite hypothesis of mine, and it's looked really in a bad shape. And I just come to consult and I want him to discuss, design the experiment. And Jan simply said, what is the meaning of totally opposite result than you expected? I'm like, oh, it seemed like a good result. He said, yes, just like neglect your hypothesis. And it turned out to be a pretty good paper out there. So become criticism, highly criticism, and care more about quality is in hard work, but at the same time it's gonna make really, really good payoff. And the good work, Jan mentioned this one to me, is good work always find a way. So keep building up on the qualities, and also he cared quite a lot in the design process of the experiment, in which to the point that today I still try to teach my students to do so. This is really embarrassing. This is really, really early one that I try to send it to Jan, like written down in paper and scan it back to him. But this is the very first time in life that before I run the real experiment, I try to design it well enough to foresee the possible result. Even though this one is mock-up really close to the real one. And it's actually hard for me. I never been trained like this before. And even though it looks embarrassing, I just want to show to younger students that maybe you can start from this point, and at some point it can develop up to be really well designed work. The other thing that I have been learned, not just with Jan, also from Kun, from Tokda, Ryu, and many others, it's like collaboration is key to productivity. But friendship is key to success. And also, this one is the main highlight for me. The friend can fight. And this fight creates quite a lot of good work. In the past, there are the authors, member that always gonna be invited to give talk in our lab. His name is Kobayashi Sensei. Every time he comes, he giving lecture, you're gonna have a big fight with him. Actually big fight. He go against everything Kobayashi Sensei said, and they have a big fight in front of class. Every lab member sit on the back and like, can we get out, can we move? And then the other day, Jan present his work, Kobayashi Sensei also go against everything, and they have a big fight again. And we always feel like why they keep inviting each other for talk. And every night that we go for diet together, at the end, they are really, really close friends. Actually close friends. And we really confused about what happened. So when we have lab party at his house, actually, we also mentioned, and when we get drunk, actually, so we have enough courage to ask our advisor why you keep invited people you don't like. But Jan said, I love him so much. I just try to go against him because I don't believe his data. But because I like him, I think I can trust him enough that he will not be angry by my comments, by my good comments. So that's the point that I start to learn that, wow, okay, then it simply means collaboration and friends is different thing. And if you have a friend that you can collaborate with, then it's increasing the path to success quite a lot. So in our drinking groups, playing board game together and keep drinking, we came from totally different disciplines, from agriculture, from social science, from mechanical engineer, from agriculture, and we keep debating on each other's work after we get drunk. Well, most of the time we don't remember the result of the debate, but in many times we've written it down, and it turned out to be pretty good comments. And these comments developed to be many part of presentation I give to general audience or the other way of thinking about my result. Especially him. I mean, up until now, I still go to meet him every time I went back to Fukuoka. His name is Will. We are in the closest loop, like we both work in the same lab in the psychology study. But I keep telling him that I hate his research. I don't believe in the result and why. And he keeps saying back to me that he also don't trust my data and why. And we love each other so much to the point that now we work in ADMA and we still keep contacting each other. So what I would like to say as well is that Kyudai teach me that hard work will pay off. I got a lot of warning because I go for with Thai scholarships. So basically have very limited time to study. Jan also one of the person that tell me that PhD is kind of risky investment. Many things that you cannot foresee and you need to have a backup project. So one way that he organized the lab is every PhD student normally should have at least 1 or 2 experiment design as a backup and keep running together in parallel at least. And in the past it's kind of too much for me, so now it's not. It's really helpful in terms of ensure that everything will pay out. He as well, like he also with the Onimaru Sensei, and at the same time that we working hard and we keep like go to gym just for train for bicycle. This is the moment that my friend paper got accepted and he ready for thesis defense. It's quite the same time it happened for me as well when I know that paper got accepted and I can go for defense. This as well, this is really intense workshop in the Oishi campus with Inamura Sensei, just 3 weeks, and we need to do real field study. We need to compete with the data that JTB have and try to convince Finnair people that Japanese people doesn't think like that. Okay, and it's turned out and pay off that we got invited to Finnair headquarters to present the data to the executive. This one as well. This one also quite interesting because SEG company just actually they came to Oishi campus first to the School of Design.
But it turned out that they select our lab, which is in the medicine school, simply because they have, SCG is a big Thai company, designing a house, designing living area. They questioning that some psychology theory that they apply to design work might be over-interpreted at some point. And they go to design school. Basically, they want the scholar counterpart to do research over there. It turned out our lab in Mainashi can help. We check the lighting. After I graduate, we still conduct research in SCG headquarters for the living room design team, color scheme design team, and so on. So this is another hard working that we all, as a lab member, help each other to do, because it's the first time that us, in this generation of Lawrence Sensei Lab, ever do industrial research. It's the first time. Okay, and this is like the defense time. I graduate, and this is the photo that we take. And this is kind of counting the payoff, the payoff of hard work as well. And this is like my family at Kyudai for graduation day. So this is the result. I count everything from the day that my first paper published it to the all continuum work that I keep doing with Jan, just only that. So only these 3 years we got like 8 publications. We have 11 conferences together. We got 2 research grants. We continue 2 projects with SCG. So it's kind of like quite a lot of intense work, but it's happened because of everything that the environment around Kyudai grew me up. And it changed from friend to family at some point. He became my academic dad. I call him that. because like we like family. Like I go there, visit them most of the time. Kun also like my big brother. He hold my daughter when she's just like a couple months old. Yeah, you can see like we also get talked up, like we still like really close and like keep making each other become like a long-term family together, and this is like a Thai group that we still connected. So one last lesson that Jan told me is a little bit longer than that. He said like psychology work that we do, maybe only us interested in that. Because it's a deep research that we have curiosity about, so we do the research on that. But whenever you can become helpful to someone, just do it. Make your skill somehow. It turned out that it's carry on when I go back to KMUTT and I saw this group. I met them eventually by Sune, and the author, executive, introduced us to the fact that KMUTT spread out a lot of stuff all over the border of Thailand for around 30 years, and they do many stuff in the border to help the poverty and inequality and those kind of stuff. So I just try and find a way that I can help. And the only thing that I can help, even though it's not improving my kind of like direct return, because it's not related to my publication and research, but one thing I can do is I know that I can create connections. So this one kind of thing I bring beyond to many local farmers and the work that KMUTT work with disability person. I bring him as well to the shop market that's run by Dr. Sren, and this shop is for selling all the indigenous products and trying to survive in Yaowarat. Quite the same thing, I bring him to giving a talk, but not just to the subject that he has expertise with, but I want some kind of like marginalized student in KMUTT that I would say can have a first glance of international exposure. So I bring him to Rajaguri campus as well, and he giving a talk about opportunity to study abroad for students in Rajaguri, which is what I this really new thing. They are not students in Bangkok, and they feel like this is something that's too far away from him and her, and they are kind of really interested to this talk, to the point that at the end of the talk, he tried to keep email Jan and say like, don't forget me. In the next 3 days, I will try to apply for internship, I will try to apply for something, you know. So it's kind of like a new hope that we can do, that we can share.
Like Kun said, I know that he did research with the local minorities, so I bring him there. And I tricked him a little bit with that leaf. That's why he had that blue color on his hand for 7 days. So it's a real leaf and it's a real national color, but it's really hard to wash out. Okay. So the other groups, this one also came from KMUTT executive. They said like, we have people who try to find a grant for undergrads, like quite a lot for undergrads. We didn't have many people who try to find a grant for high school kids who are in university high school yet. So can you try it? So I reached out to Kun, I reached out to Q-AOS, and we said like, maybe there's some chance with Sakura Science Project, and they are the first batch who can go to Kyudai, 10 of them with 1 million yen grant for 7 to 8 days to start exposed to everything else over there. Some of them came back on the back, 2 of them. Thank you for that. And it's a big thing for me, at least, and for the school as well. Now, I mean, after this grant, teacher from high school and also like the student themselves also try to keep pushing the elements and trying to make the school become a part of kind of like last long scholarship that we might be able to find. Now we have quite a lot of inbound from Japan as well. By Kun collaboration, he contacted Shichokakuen, which is another high school. And in the past 2 years, more than 150 students from Japan came to Thailand, to KMUTT, to do like quick visit and become friends. So this is follow the strategy from Atachwin, the Vice President, that we want to create internationalization at home for Thai students who didn't have enough budget to go abroad. So that's all. I think that's all, and that's how life in Kyudai changed me forever somehow. And I think we're gonna keep continuing much more things to do further in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for a very informative and very active presentation. I got a lot of pictures actually here.
Yes.
So, any question to Dr. Onjai about study and life in Fukuoka and in Kyushu University? You have any simple questions? We're almost on schedule, but if you have any question, you can ask here or comments. Okay. Okay, maybe we can have more communications in the dinner reception. All right, so we almost finished, and we are coming to the closing session of the symposium today. So today, actually, I have invited the president of the Kyushu University Thai Alumni Association, Emeritus Professor Dr. Surin, to come to this event. But because some health issue, he cannot come in person. But he delivered some speech and information to another professor here. So now I'd like to invite Dr. Supa, Professor Supa, Sri Kantaramas, professor from Faculty of Science, Chulalongkorn University. He's also our excellent alumni member to give the closing remarks on behalf of Professor Suri. Please.
Thank you very much, Kun Sensei. So I'm sorry I just arrived and just in time to listen to the last talk. Okay, but anyway, as Kun Sensei mentioned, Professor Surin, who is a president of Kyudai alumni in Thailand, got some like health issue. But anyway, on behalf of Professor Surin, I'm gonna deliver his closing remark. So, distinguished guests, Professor Chim Sik, Vice President of Kyushu University, respected speaker, fellow alumni, students, partners, and friends. Good evening. So, on behalf of Emeritus Professor Dr. Surin Hong Suphasamit, President of Kyushu University Thai Alumni Association, it's my honor to deliver this closing remarks
for Kyushu University Forum, Kyudai now, Bangkok. My name is Supat Sirikanthalawan. I'm a Kyudai alumnus from Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science. And now I'm a professor at Faculty of Science, Chulalongkorn University. So today's forum has been very inspiring. Kyudai now is an ongoing global forum series by Kyushu University that showcases the latest research, strengthens international partnerships, and connects alumni communities across countries. So here's Bangkok, and we have seen the mission come to life through excellent talks across diverse fields and through meaningful discussion among researchers, students, alumni, and partners. So we at Stand Almost see the message that knowledge creates impact when we work together. So whether in social science, design, health, engineering, AI, innovations, or other emerging areas. So today's presentation have highlighted real opportunities for joint research and student and faculty exchange and innovation that benefit society. Kyushu University is open to collaboration, and Thailand has strong partners ready to engage. So I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Kyushu University and to all co-organizers, as well as our speakers, for sharing their expertise. So thank you also to everyone who joined us today. Your presence and active participation are what make this forum meaningful. As Kyudai alumni in Thailand, we are proud to serve as a bridge between Kyushu University and our local community. We stand ready to support future collaborations, connecting people, facilitating opportunities, and welcoming the next generation into Kyudai network. So in closing, I encourage everyone to stay connected beyond today, continue the conversation, explore concrete next steps, and turn shared interest into shared projects, building lasting partnerships and impactful outcomes. So thank you very much, and please enjoy the dinner reception. Thank you.